Welcome to the Radiant Edge podcast, where we challenge conventional business wisdom and explore what it really takes for women to build soul-led businesses with their energy, purpose, and authority. Because, ladies, we are not here just to sell. We are here to lead movements, shape ideas, and amplify your radiance. Hi, welcome back. I'm Wendy Burge. Today, we're going somewhere that most coaches are not willing to go. We're going to talk about the difference between confidence and what I call oriented authority, and why getting the distinction wrong is costing high caliber women everything. So let me ask you something. Think about the last time that you walked into a room, a meeting, a conversation, or a moment where something was at stake and you felt it. That flicker, that quiet voice that said, "I'm not sure if I belong here." And maybe you pushed through it. You gave yourself a little pep talk. Maybe you have a mantra you've been using that usually works. And just maybe you're exhausted from having to use it. Here's what nobody is saying in the personal development world, and I'm going to say it today loudly, clearly, and without apology. Confidence is not your problem. It never was your problem. And building more of it is not the answer. I want to tell you about a client that I worked with named Claire. Claire had done everything right. She had degrees, she had the track record, she had done the inner work, therapy, coaching, retreats, the courses. She could speak confidently in front of people, and she had mantras, she had the affirmations, she had journals full of evidence of her own value. And yet, she kept finding herself in conversations where she'd walk away feeling like she'd given herself away, where she'd agreed to things that she didn't believe in, where she'd softened the edges of truth she knew was important because the room got uncomfortable, or because she didn't want to seem difficult, or because she just wasn't sure she had the right to hold that ground. She came to me saying, "I think I need to work on my confidence." I sat with this for a moment, and then slowly I told her, "No, you don't. What you need is a center." Confidence is a feeling, and feelings fluctuate. What you're missing is a structure, a place where you operate from, not a mood you're trying to sustain. This is the thing that almost nobody in coaching or the leadership development world will say to you. Most of the work on confidence is actually affirmation work. It's esteem work. It's asking you to feel better about yourself. And that's not wrong, but it's incomplete. Because you can feel great about yourself on a Tuesday and then get into a discovery high-stakes conversation on a Wednesday and feel the floor drop out from underneath you. Not because you forgot affirmations, but because confidence was never designed to hold you in that moment. Authority is. I need to define a word carefully here because it gets misused. When I speak about authority, I'm not talking about power over, and I'm not talking about dominance or volume, or the kind of authority that gets confused with aggression. I'm talking about oriented authority. Authority means you know where you stand. You know what you stand for, and you operate from that place consistently, regardless of the emotional weather in the room. Oriented authority is not a feeling. It's a structure. It's a relationship with your own knowing that doesn't require external validation to stay intact. Think of it this way. Confidence is like fire. You have to keep feeding it. You might have the right conditions, the right kindling, a little warmth from the environment. And if someone walks in and throws cold water on it, you're starting over. Authority is like a foundation. It doesn't react to weather. It doesn't need the room to cooperate. It exists whether or not anyone acknowledges it. And here is the crucial distinction. You can feel confident while being misaligned. You can be energized, assured, and even charismatic, and still be operating from someone else's map, still chasing someone else's definition of success, shrinking in places that actually matter. Conversely, you can feel uncertain, even uncomfortable, and still be fully in your authority. Because authority doesn't require you to feel good. It requires you to know where you stand. This is what I call the foundation conviction. It is the bedrock beneath everything I do. It is the belief and the structural belief that you are not a project to be fixed or a flame to be stoked. You are a whole intelligence that needs integration, not more affirmations. Now, I want to go somewhere that might surprise you, because it surprised me at first when I understood it fully. Authority lives in the body. Your nervous system is consistently scanning your environment for signals of safety and threat. This is not woo, this is neuroscience. It's doing this before your conscious mind even registers what's happening. And when it perceives threat, social threats, status, the threat of judgment, it will start to mobilize you away from your center. What does that look like when you're under pressure in a business situation? It looks like suddenly agreeing with someone you were prepared to push back on. It looks like your voice getting softer. It looks like finishing someone else's sentence in a way that wasn't actually what you meant. It looks like walking out of a meeting and not quite recognizing the version of yourself that was in there. And what do we typically say about that experience? I need to be more confident. No, what you need is a nervous system that has been trained intentionally and structurally to return to the center under pressure. Confidence is about how you feel before you walk into the room. Authority is about where you return to when the room gets hard. This is why affirmation-only development fails women with depth. Women who have thought deeply, who carry genuine complexity, who have strong convictions and nuanced perspectives, these women don't need more self-esteem. They need a practice of recentering that's so embodied and so structural that it operates even when the nervous system is activated. That is not a mindset shift. That is an integration. And I'm going to say something that may land a little hard here. And I want you to sit with this before you push back. Most confidence work was designed for a problem that isn't even yours. It was designed for someone who doesn't believe they have value, someone who needs to be built up, and someone who requires external scaffolding to feel capable. But that's not you. You know your value. You've proven it 100 times over. The problem is not that you doubt your worth. The problem is that under pressure, when the environment gets hostile or political or emotionally charged, you lose contact with your center. You get pulled off your axis, and you've been trying to solve that problem with a tool that wasn't built for it. Affirmations are scaffolding. They hold something up that hasn't been built yet. But what you need isn't scaffolding. What you need is structure itself. The load-bearing walls, the bedrock that holds the thing when the scaffolding is removed. Think about a musician who knows their instrument completely. They don't need to pump themselves up before a performance. They don't need to tell themselves they can play. The playing is integrated. The knowledge lives in their hands and their breath and their ear. It doesn't require belief in the moment. It just is. That is the difference between confidence and authority. Confidence says, I believe I can do this. Authority says, this is what I am. This is where I stand. I don't need to believe it right now. I know it. Integration means your authority doesn't require a good day to function. It means your knowing has been metabolized, moved from concept to structure, from belief to being. That's a moment I've seen happen again and again with the women I work with. It's quiet. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It's the moment they stop asking, how do I feel more confident? And they start asking, what is my center and how do I stay there? One woman I worked with, let's call her Simone, had spent nearly a decade in personal development work. She'd done everything. She was articulate, self-aware, deeply intelligent. And she came to me burnt out, not from her work, but from the constant effort of managing her own internal state. She said to me, I am so tired of working on my confidence. It feels like I'm always chasing it. And then I said, that's because you are. You're chasing a feeling instead of building a foundation. When Simone shifted from confidence work to authority work, when she stopped trying to feel a certain way and started building a center she could return to, everything changed. Not because she felt better, but because she stopped needing to feel a certain way to function at her highest level. That is not soft realization. You don't need more confidence. You need a center, a place so clearly yours, so structurally sound that no room, no person, no moment of doubt can pull you off it. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Confidence is not your enemy. Feeling good matters. Believing in yourself matters. But if you've been doing the work and if you've been putting the years in, the investment, the introspection, and you still find yourself losing contact with your truth under pressure, it's not because you need more affirmations. It's because you need integration. It's because what you carry has not been fully moved into your body, into the structure, into the place where it operates automatically, even under fire. That is the work of oriented authority, and that is the work we do here. The foundation conviction I hold, and the one that underpins everything that I do in this, you are not a person to be fixed. You are an intelligence to be integrated. And when that integration happens, you don't chase authority, you inhabit it. I'll see you next week on the Radiant Edge. And remember, the edge isn't where you fall off. It's where you find how solid the ground beneath you actually is.